welcome to the Redefine Podcast. All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I want to share a story with you from a dear friend of mine. I just recently had a conversation with. It had been a while. It'd been a handful, well, more than a handful of months really, since we'd actually talked. Exchanged texts here and there and messages, but never actually haven't had a good sit down conversation with this individual in a while. So it was nice. That's first thing. If there are somebody on your mind, and I have to really get better at this. If there's somebody on your mind that you haven't reached out to in a while, just reach out. Send even just a text, because you never know what difference it would make. And that's the topic for today, as it relates to content too. I'll tie it into content creation and publishing, but you never know. You never know whose day you'll make by reaching out, right? You never know the impact. So the story it goes like this. He was conveying to me how back when he was like 15 years old, he was having a really bad day after coming out of a track meet, and his family had decided to stop through Hershey on their way back home. Right, it was a interstate kind of a competition. So driving back home, back up north, they decided to go through Hershey and stop in Hershey Park. And again, my friend was really having a tough time because he did poorly. He didn't. It's not that he did poorly, but he was out competed. Right, the level of competition was really high at this particular event, and so he was feeling really bad about himself and feeling really crummy, and he was not enjoying his experience at Hershey Park at all. So he was just kind of moping around, and he found himself in the middle of the day he's sitting on one of the benches in the park, and a little girl sat beside him, maybe close to the same age, maybe a little younger, just sat beside him and looked at him, and they made eye contact, and she just I guess gave the warmest, brightest smile, and that absolutely turned his day around, turned his entire trip around. And in fact, as I'll explain, it turned his entire life around. The fact that this little girl, this complete stranger, was so open and willing to just give him a smile really, really brightened his day. And he realized from then on how big a difference it makes to just smile at people. Right? To smile at people and to purposefully and intentionally brighten their day, no matter who they are, no matter what, whether you know them or not, just smiling at perfect strangers can make a huge impact. So that principle has stayed with him for his entire life, and it's been a practice of his ever since. I mean, that was what are we? We're in our late 40s. I won't be specific, but we're in our late 40s now. So that was over 30 years ago, right? Over 30 years ago. But it's still to this day something that he does and intentionally carries with him every day when he interacts with people as a result of that one little interaction. I mean, who knows how long it was, like 2-3 minutes tops. So that little gesture from this little girl had a tremendous impact on his life moving forward, that he's carried that principle with him and that practice with him throughout his entire life. Now, the next level of impact is absolutely mind-boggling, in that because he does this every day, because he's carried that with him ever since, not only is he a more cheerful person to interact with, but that reverberation, that simple act from the little girl has reverberated beyond herself. It's reverberated to everyone that my friend encounters moving forward, and to this day, and then moving forward from here on out, right? So it's crazy, the ripple effect of any piece of any interaction that you might have, the truly profound and deep impact that we all make, and that we actually don't understand or even recognize that we make, right? How you show up with any interaction, and this is again, I'll tie this to content creation, but how you show up in any interaction makes an impact. Whether it's a positive or negative impact, it makes an impact, and that impact reverberates through all of humanity, because there's that level of connection and that ripple effect, right? So being really intentional and purposeful with how you show up can really make a difference to brightening up the world. My friend and I were also talking about how we're still coming out of the pandemic and the results, and we have no idea actually how deeply it has impacted all our lives in a very like challenging and difficult way. Something as simple as a smile to a stranger, a real and genuine smile to a stranger, can make a huge difference in helping us cope with these traumas that we've been through the last couple of years, right? And so to tie that with content creation and publishing, it's all about how you show up, right? If you show up wanting to make a difference, if you show up wanting to make an impact and providing value, and doing the work to get better at showing up, then that's going to reverberate, and that's going to have a profound ripple effect. It really will. That's how important this is. This isn't just, a dancing trend on TikTok, which, not to take away from that, because that has tremendous impact in brightening people's day, mind you, right? And that's why I love those dance trends. People might be saying, rolling their eyes at those things, it's just another dance trend, doesn't that? If a dance trend can get the entire world's population dancing and moving and enjoying movement, that's tremendous, right? A worldwide dance is amazing, right? So recognize that impact for what it is. How you show up with your content, if you're is the impact that you're going to make, right? And so with the thought in mind, we really should work harder and harder towards being purposeful and impactful with how we show up, with the content that we produce and publish online, because whether it's intentional or not, you're making an impact, and that piece of content that you've posted is going to have a ripple effect. Yeah, some content has a broader and vaster ripple effect than others, but it's going to have a ripple effect regardless. So be really mindful of that. You're showing up on a platform that has a potential reach of millions and millions of people, and if you're not intentional with how you're showing up with that content, then yeah, well, the impact that you make is well, it's going to be random at best, right? It's going to be random at best. We have within the literal palm of our hands, the ability to impact the world for the better. And I hope that this message gets to you in a way that you can be more purposeful with that impact, right, and intentional with that impact. So that's my message for you today. I really wanted to share how every little thing that you do makes a difference. And showing up, giving somebody a simple smile, it can change the world. It could change the world. So that's it. That's it for today. More from me tomorrow. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.